right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to lower this for a second. I'm really glad that you're all here. Today is not only Columbus Day, but it is also Indigenous Peoples Day. And I thought that we could build our practice around some of the wisdom and the gifts that we can get from the teachings of Indigenous people throughout this country. And so I would like to begin with a chant that I wrote based on a Navajo prayer. Many of you have done this chant with me before. It's called the Beauty Chant. And one of the teachings in various Native American traditions has to do with feeling the circle of all beings around us and the circle of love and light of Great Spirit around us, above us, below us, beside us, and within us, to feel that sense of being encircled in that love and light and connection with all of nature. And in Native American spirituality, the word beauty is used a lot, especially in Navajo and Southwest Native peoples. And beauty is this wonderful concept. This wonderful concept that is not so much about the beauty that we see with our eyes, but it's about a sense of being in harmony with all of nature, and a sense of being able to see when you look at another being into the eyes of another being, or when you look at a plant, or you look at anything in nature, to be able to see the divinity, the spirit, the great spirit, God, that radiance of spirit emanating from whoever or whatever you're looking at. So it's a real sense of being tuned in to divinity within us and all around us, and a sense of being in harmony with that and aligning with that. When they talk about walking in beauty, aligning our words, thoughts, and actions with that awareness of spirit. And so when I think about that concept of beauty, to me it aligns perfectly with the idea of being in yoga, that the word yoga actually means union with that spiritual presence. And throughout cultures and spiritual traditions all over the world, we're all really talking about the same thing: yoga, beauty, Christ consciousness, just being aligned with divine essence. Yoga, beauty, same thing. So find your steady and comfortable yogic seat. Elongate through your spine. And we'll take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth to release any tension that you can become aware of in the body first. Just kind of scanning through your physical body and see if there's any holding or restriction that can be offered out. With an audible sigh through the mouth. In through the nose, filling all the way up into the chest, maybe even drawing the shoulders up to the ears. Get tight, 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 and then let it go. Make a little noise with that exhale to release. And another deep breath in, filling up all the way into the chest through the nose. Pause at the top, enjoy that fullness. And if there's anything rumbling around in your consciousness, any thoughts perhaps circling around, just see if you can offer them out with the next exhale. And again, this time touching into the realm of the heart, the emotional realm. See if there's anything you can let go and offer out here with the power of the next exhale. And that touching into that sense of the sacred, that circle of beauty around us and within us, that sense of being present with divine energy and in harmony with nature and in all beings. Once again, root the tailbone down into the earth. Feel your connection with the earth below you. Feel the crown of the head lifting to the sky without lifting the chin. Keep the chin level so the back of your neck stays long. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Spread the heart nice and wide. And then with the eyes open with the soft gaze, reach the hands forward. Beauty before me. Hands back. Beauty behind me. Touch the earth. Beauty beneath me. Hands raised. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. Open wide. Feel it opening right through your heart. And all around me. Big sweeping circle overhead. And then a circle in front of you. Beauty in circles. Me with love. Palm over palm. Draw that beauty right into the center of your chest. Own it. Know that it's within you. That you are infused with it. And again. Beauty before me. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me. Beauty in circles. Me with love. Let's put it to a little rhythm here. Beauty before me. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me. Beauty in circles. Me with love. Beauty before me. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me. Beauty in circles. Me with love on your own. Beauty before me. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me. Beauty in circles. Me with love. Beauty before me. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me. Beauty in circles. Me with love. Beauty before me. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me. Beauty in circles. Me with love. Last time. Beauty before me. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me. Beauty in circles. Me with love. Just draw that beauty into your heart. Let your eyes close. Feel it. Take a deep breath in. And together acknowledging that beauty that is what we are made of. The beauty that is alive in every being, in every plant, every animal, every rock and river. Let's take a deep breath in and join our voices together in the sound of Om. And just notice for a moment what is alive in you. And I invite you to come to standing on your mat. Finding your feet hip-width apart in mountain pose. Once again, roll the shoulders back and down so your heart is spread nice and wide. And I want to share with you, just thinking about that sense of we just created a circle of awareness of beauty all around us. And the power of the circle of all beings, is really important, essential teaching in pretty much all of Native American spirituality, all across tribes and nations and confederacies. And I want to offer you, as you stand in mountain and connect with the earth beneath you, the sky above you, feel the circle of all beings around you. Connect with that sense of being part of that circle with these words from the great Oglala Sioux elder, Black Elk. Everything the power of the world does is done in a circle. The sky is round, and I have heard that the earth is round like a ball, and so are all the stars. The wind in its greatest power whirls. Birds make their nests in circles, for theirs is the same religion as ours. The sun comes forth and goes down again in a circle. The moon does the same, and both are round. Even the seasons form a great circle in their changing and always come back where they were. The life of a human is a circle from childhood to childhood, and so is in everything where power, and so it is in everything where power moves. And so it is in everything where power moves. So letting the eyes open with a soft gaze, just acknowledging that circle of life and divinity and great spirit around us. Take some deep sun breaths, as if your fingertips are sweeping the edges of the circle which has no edge. Reach up through right fingers, left fingers, exhale, bend the knees, squeeze out all the breath. Just some long, deep breaths to bring the body and the breath and the mind into one flow and into the awareness of this great wide circle that all of us are living in deep connection within. Big breaths. In through the nose and out through the nose here. One more. Nice and wide, turning the palms up. Reach through right, reach through left. Exhale, come into that gentle squat and bring the hands to the thighs. And take standing cat-cow, tilting the pelvis forward and back, spreading the heart, and then rounding the shoulders on the exhale. Explore the full range of motion in your spine and pelvis. Syncing it up with breath, taking the length of a whole inhale to come into that cow tilt, arching back, looking up. Exhaling, tucking the pelvis, chin to chest. And then on the next inhale, arms reach and rise. Interlacing fingers, pointer fingers to the sky. Find a long line of energy that goes down through the tailbone into the earth, up to the heavens with the pointer fingers, and then see if you can relax the shoulders a little bit, even in this clasped hand position. So shoulders down away from the ears, navel draws in and up. Find length and space, and then exhale into a standing half moon. Pressing your left hip out to the left. I'm mirroring you here. Those pointer fingers reach to the right. Exhale. Inhale up to center and other side. Leaning your weight a little bit more to the right side to get this beautiful arch. Just exploring all the different ways that the spine can move. Inhale up to center one more time each side. If it feels more comfortable for you to have one hand on the hip, you can take it that way. Lifting up to center, exhale, side body stretch. Breathe into any places where there's tightness. Inhale up to center, float the arms down, and roll the shoulders one way, up and back, and then forward. And interlacing fingers behind you, spread the heart nice and wide. Let the wingtips of the shoulder blades draw toward one another like they're going to touch, like they're going to kiss. And then bending the knees, fold over the legs. Keep the knees bent enough so that you stay connected between the front of the torso and the thighs. Reach the hands up if you want to make those pointer fingers, that same mudra where the fingers point straight up, and then see if you can draw them toward the front of your mat. Just breathing into that, find some movements of the head, so the crown of the head releases to the earth. Find some looseness in the neck. And then let the hands release, come beside the feet. Just take another moment of forward bend. Bring your hands forward just a little bit on the tips of your fingers. Heel toe, the feet to as wide as your mat. And turn the toes out 45 degrees. Soften the knees and roll up one vertebra at a time. Stacking one bone on top of the other. Shoulders down and back. Keep the knees soft and let your hands come to your hips. And we'll find that circling. Everything in the earth, everything in the world, the power of the world moves in circles and in spirals and in cycles. So enjoy this circular movement of the hip, activating second chakra, which is connected with the element of water, swirling of water. One way, then circle the other way. And then coming to center, keeping the knees soft. We'll take it into empty coat sleeves. Just a gentle empty coat sleeves this morning. Just letting the arms swing with the movement of the torso. And see if you can let your gaze follow the movement of the torso, looking over your shoulders. See if you can let your gaze draw an entire circle from behind you one way to the other way. Just inviting a rotation of the spine, just nice and relaxed and loose here. Staying with deep breaths. And then coming back to center. Pause and heel toe the feet to hip width apart. And just pause and take a moment to feel what aliveness you've generated in your body. Feel the circling, the circulating of prana moving through the channels of your energy body. Perhaps the blood pulsing and circulating through your veins. The breath circulating from inhale to exhale, back to inhale, and again to the exhale. I'd like to invite you to turn to face the east. Another beautiful practice that's common among most earth-based traditions, not just Native Americans, but really all over the world, is a connecting with the circle of the four directions and the different elements and different qualities that are associated with those four directions. And we will do that with our bodies with a half salutation to each of the directions now. And I'm going to share with you an invocation from the Potawatomi tribe. But this is a beautiful ceremony that invokes each of the directions and the elements and qualities connected with them. So turn to face east, whichever way is east in your world in your space there. And come to stand in mountain pose. Toes turn straight ahead, lift the arches of the feet, root the tailbone down, lift the crown to the sky. Bring the hands to the heart in prayer position. Let the eyes close for a moment as you face east. East is the direction from which light comes, and therefore the direction of illumination. It is the direction for birth and rebirth. Rebirth can mean learning new things or gaining a new level of understanding. It is the direction of guidance and leadership. The gifts of the East include clear speech that help others understand light, purity, truthfulness, childhood, innocence, and uncritical acceptance of others. So, to invite in that new level of understanding, new beginnings, facing east, take a deep breath in, arms circle up, reach through the right, reach through the left. Arch back, heart, hands, gaze to the vast sky. Exhale, deep dive, slow dive. Keep your knees bent as much as you need to into your forward bend. Half lift, inhale, lengthen out, and take this moment to engage the navel in and up to support the spine as you lengthen out from tail to crown. Reach the crown forward, shoulders are level in line with your hips, flat back. Your fingertips come to your shins. Exhale, fold again. Drop the hips halfway, coming into a gentle squat chair pose. Bring the hands into prayer. Sit down in that chair, feel the power of the legs holding you, supporting you. Inhale, big sweeping circle up, palms join overhead. Exhale, hands come back to the heart. With gratitude to the energy and power of the East. Take a quarter turn to face the south. So to your right, you're going to turn to face the south. And bring the hands to the heart. South is the direction of the sun at its highest point. It is the place of summer, of fullness, of youth, physical strength, and vigor. Symbolically, it is a time of preparing for the future, of getting ready for the days ahead. The South is also a place of the heart, of generosity, of sensitivity to the feelings of others, of loyalty and love. The most difficult and valuable gift to be sought in the South is the capacity to express feelings openly and freely in a way that does not hurt others. So with that in mind, let the arms reach and rise. Reach through the right again and through the left. And on the exhale, clasp the hands behind you and open the heart wide, once again, spreading the center of your chest in that gesture of opening to love, opening to feelings, opening to being fully alive by being present with our emotions, not pushing them away, not stuffing them with all the ways that we stuff them, but just allowing us to be alive in the heart. Shoulder blades squeeze toward one another, bend the knees, fold over the legs. Once again, belly stays connected with thighs, hands reach to the sky. And release the hands to frame the feet and take a half lift, sliding the hands up the shins, coming into that half forward bend, flat back. Find a reverse shrug with your shoulders, drawing them back away from the ears. Exhale, fold once again. This time, if you want to bring your hands behind the calves to draw the belly in a little closer to the thighs, lift through the sacrum. So maybe straightening your legs, your knees a little more if that feels okay with your low back. And then sitting down halfway into a chair pose, bring the hands together in prayer. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweep up. Just once again, inviting that circle of all beings to come into your heart as you bring the palms to your heart. Deep breath in and release and let go. To the right, take a quarter turn to face the west. And let your eyes close, palms at the heart, and just taking in the quality of the West. And according to the Potawatomi, West teaches that its greatest lesson to be learned is to accept ourselves as we really are, as both spiritual and physical beings, and to never cut ourselves off from the spiritual part of nature. Gifts of the West include darkness, contemplation, deep inner thoughts, and the unknown. So in that spirit of contemplation, this time just bring the hands, the thumbs, palms together, thumbs joined, right at the third eye, that place of wisdom and contemplation. In that stillness, take a deep breath in. Exhale, release. Facing west, arms circle up. Reach through right, reach through left. Arch back, heart, hands, gaze, look up to the sky. Exhale, deep dive, folding forward. Into your forward bend, knees bent as much as you need to. Let everything go. Half lift, flat back. And once again, draw the navel in and up. And this time, invite the sitting bones to spread a little bit wider, like you're fanning peacock feathers. So you're going to find that nice wide spread of the sitting bones. Reach forward through the crown of the head. Let the back of the neck be long, following that straight line of the spine. And exhale, fold. And then from here, sit down in your chair, bring the hands together, take a deep breath in. Let the weight come a little bit more into your heels here, but keep your toes rooted into the mat. And then arms reach and rise, palms come together. Exhale, bring the hands back to the heart. With gratitude to the west. Take a quarter turn to face the north. And from here, just bring the hands to the heart, palms in prayer again. The north is the place of winter and the white snow that reminds us of the white hair of our elders. It is the place of true wisdom and survival. Survival sometimes means physical survival, that there is enough food and wood to keep us warm. It can also mean emotional and mental survival against loneliness and depression, keeping our spirit and heart strong. Gifts of the north include our elders, insight, wisdom, moderation, and justice. So from here, facing north, arms reach and rise. Arch back, heart, hands, gaze to the sky, and this time with a slow, deep dive to the earth. Bring your hands, palms or fingertips, whatever is available to you, to be able to reach the mat. Just for a moment to touch into honoring your ancestors, whose bones live under the earth, whose dust is in the earth, and whose blood runs through your veins, whose DNA is alive in every cell of your being. They are alive in you, and just honoring them with hands on the earth. That lineage that stretches back and back and back and back to the beginning of time. Beings whom you have never met, but who are alive in you, in your blood and in your bones. With gratitude to the ancestors, take a half lift. Let the hands slide up the shins once more, lengthening out, tail to crown. Spread your tail feathers wide. Exhale, bow. And come into that squat. Palms come together. Into chair pose. Soften the shoulders, soften the muscles around the face here. We'll hold for another 2 more breaths here. Really energizing and powering up the legs, building a little more heat in the body. Make sure if you're in your chair pose that you're not sticking your butt way out and leaning on your thighs. You want to be upright here, like you're just hovering over the hot seat. Ujjayi breath, little contraction in the back of the throat. So the breath makes that whisper sound. And then arms sweep up, slowly releasing, straightening the legs. Reach right fingertips and left fingertips to the sky. Palms come together. Hands return to the heart. And pause for a moment. Notice what's alive in you. Turn to face wherever the front of your mat is for you, or wherever you can see me and see the screen. And we'll take it into a vinyasa flow, starting in mountain pose, bringing the hands once again to the center of the chest, thumbs pressing into the sternum just lightly, with gratitude to that circle of all beings and the circle of elements circulating through us, through our bodies. Big breath in, arms reach and rise. Turn your heart, hands, and gaze to the sky one more time. Deep dive. Half lift, inhale. Grow long, root to crown. Exhale, fold. Hands frame the feet. Step back with the right foot. A whole length. Lower the right knee down. You're coming into your low lunge. Left knee stacks over ankle. Lengthen from the tailbone to the crown. Draw the shoulders back away from the ears. So the heads of the shoulders draw back and down, shoulder blades down the back body. And inner thighs toward the center, sweep forward and up. If this feels comfortable, if you need to bring your hands to blocks to support yourself, you can. So you want to find that long line that roots down into the earth through the tail and up through the crown. Activate through the core, get that little navel lift, Uddiyana Bandha, reach fingertips to the sky. Connecting here in this kneeling warrior with that circle of all beings and elements that are within you, that are beneath you in the earth, above you in the vast sky, all around you. And take this as a moment to call in the medicine that you need today to show up strong, fully present, fully loving and open in the heart. Use the breath to draw it in. Perhaps there's a word or phrase that comes to your mind. That's a concept. The idea of medicine is also another Native American concept that has to do with trusting that the healing that we need is within us and all around us in nature. Always available to us. We just need to know how to plug into it. So what is it that you can plug into this morning, that you can invite in? What quality do you want to invite in for your own healing, nourishment, and strength? Exhale, hands come back behind you, interlace the fingers, spread the heart wide open, squeeze shoulder blades toward the center. Big breath. And as you release, hands frame underneath the shoulders and draw the hips back, coming into a runner's stretch. So you can slide your left heel forward a little bit, square the hips, lengthen out. Long spine, bow down, leading with the heart. It could be just a gentle bending of the elbows. Or maybe you can go a little deeper if your body allows for that. Just meet your edge with awareness and gratitude for every sensation that you're feeling in your body is part of the gift of being alive. You can point and flex your foot to get the calf muscle awake, moving. And then roll that left foot down, come back into your lunge. We're going to take it into a twist here. Once again, sweep the hands forward and up. And this time, bring the right forearm to the left thigh at a 90-degree angle. And bring your left palm to your sacrum, fingers pointing down. So this twist, the spine is going to stay upright, shoulders over the hips. And we're going to try to move the shoulders to be level and parallel to the left long end of your mat. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Lift the crown to the sky. One more breath here into that twist. And then hands release, frame that front foot. Curl the back toes under and step back into your plank pose, top of a push-up. Firm core, press out through the heels. Shoulders over wrist, arm bones stacked. Crown of the head reaches forward, so notice if the head is flopping down. You can put your head down just to check under your body to make sure your hips aren't sagging down. But you've got that firm core bringing your body into one long, unbroken line. Big breath in. If you need knee down, you can take that. That's fine. And then lower down the knees, the chest, the chin, buttocks up in the air, toes curled under, hands underneath the shoulders. Draw the heart forward to take a low cobra. Plant all 10 toes down. Energize the legs, so feel those kneecaps lift and quads engage. Pull shoulders back, draw heart forward. And once you feel the back muscles engage to give you as much lift as possible, you can release your hands, reach them back behind you. Either fingertips just reaching straight back or interlacing the hands. If you want to take this to the next level of play, you can fire up the legs, reach out through the toes, and peel the legs off. So you're lifting all the way up through your thighs into your locust pose. Keep the facial muscles relaxed, enjoy and breathe. 2 more deep breaths. See if you can keep the entire legs lifted off. And it's always fine to keep the legs down and just stay in cobra. Releasing, let the legs come back down, hands come under the shoulders, let the forehead come down to the mat. Just let the hips rock side to side for a moment to release. And then if you'd like to take another cobra, either lifting low cobra, if full cobra feels available and yummy for you, you can peel the entire torso off, but keep the pelvis connected. Pubic bone anchors into the mat. Elbows are bent, shoulders soft. Heads of the shoulders pull down away from the ears. Crown lifts, elegant and graceful. Exhale, release. Press up through your table pose and take a nice cat stretch here. Pressing the floor away, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Pull the navel in. Spread the fingers wide and press down and forward into the hands to find your way into downward facing dog. From your down dog, take a little moment to lengthen first from your sacrum down through the back body, down through the shoulders and arms, down into the fingertips and into the earth. And then one heel at a time, pressing into the earth to lengthen through the backs of the legs. Keeping the low belly drawing toward the tops of the thighs, the fronts of the thighs. So you maintain that pelvic tilt. And you want to keep your ears in line with your upper arms here. Navel draws in and up. Heart melts down low to the place between the feet. Press down and away with the fingers. And then from here, we'll step the right foot through. So you can come down through table, or you can take a 3-legged dog and step it through. Any way that you can bring that right foot through between the hands. Right knee over ankle, slide left knee back, root down, soften shoulders, inner thighs engage toward the center, and then sweep up. And take a moment here to invite in the medicine that you need for your day, for your life, or maybe calling in medicine that you need and want for someone you love. Someone who needs healing and strength right now. Ujjayi breath. Hands back behind you, interlace, inhale, open the heart. In that gesture of being courageously loving. Release hands. Frame under the shoulders with your fingertips or fists and rock back into your runner stretch. Slide the right heel forward just a little, square the hips, point and flex the foot. And then as you keep the foot flexed, the toes pointed to the sky, lengthen out a little bit more. Feel the juice in the back of that leg. You don't want to go to the point of pain. You just want to go to the place where you feel that really strong sensation that says, oh wow, oh yeah, I am alive. Lengthening out on every inhale. You can back off a little from the depth of the stretch while you find that length from tail to crown. And then leading with the heart, flat back, folding from the hip crease, bow down. One more. Lengthen and deepen. And placing the right foot flat, come back into your lunge. Inner thighs activate toward the midline to give you support to sweep again. Once again, hands to the sky. And this time the left forearm comes to the right thigh, right palm to the sacrum, fingers pointed down. Press into the sacrum, lengthen, root down with the tail, up with the crown, and then turn to face the the right side of your mat, so that your heart and your shoulders face that long end of your mat. See if you can level your shoulders to be parallel to that long end of your mat. All the while lengthening tail to crown. Aware of your place in the circle of all beings. Rooting down to the earth, up to the sky. Drawing in the breath, the wind that comes from all directions. And then releasing. Hands frame that front foot and step up, flat back, half lift, big breath in, lengthen tail to crown, spread your peacock feathers wide and fold. Drop the hips halfway, come into that chair, palms come together and meet, sit down in your chair and sweep up, arms, circle up, fingers reach to the sky, palms come together and return to the heart. Take a deep breath in. Notice what's alive in you. Exhale slowly through the nose. We'll take it into a standing sequence. Arms reach and rise. Big breath, arch back, heart, hands, gaze skyward. Exhale, deep, slow dive, bow to the earth. Half lift, flat back. Notice how the front body, how the core needs to lift in and up in order to support the lengthening of your spine. Fold again, softening the knees as you need to. Step back this time, left foot, into a high lunge, and just take a moment to square the hips to the front. Press out through the heel, lift the back of the left knee. We're going to rise up into warrior one, so spin your left heel inward 45 degrees and plant the foot down flat. And sweep the hands forward and up. We're coming into the traditional warrior one here. If you need a modification and want to be on the ball of your foot, you can. But the one I'm inviting you to do now is flat foot. Outer edge of that left foot connects with the earth. The whole foot is flat, and you draw your left hip pointer forward, so the hips are level, root the tail down. Sweep up. And power up that back leg, so don't let that knee bend if you can. See if you can keep the back of the knee pressing away from you. We spoke in the beginning of our practice about beauty. And there's a phrase that we hear often from some Native American tribes where it's spoken about walking in beauty. The prayer, may I walk in beauty, may I walk in peace. And really showing up as warrior has to do with that, has to do with being able to walk in beauty and stand in your truth and stand in peace. Showing up as warrior is actually a very, very loving way of being in the world. There's a fierceness to it. But at its core, it's love. It's about love and beauty and that sense of connectedness with all beings. So from here, let's take those mudras that we did in the beginning with that chant. Hands forward. Beauty before me. Hands back. Beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me. Beauty above. Beauty beside me. And all around me, beauty encircles me with love. Palm over palm at the heart. And then from here, Let the hands come down to frame that front foot. Step back to plank. Firm plank and flow through your vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, buttocks up in the air. Heart comes forward. Take either low cobra or full deep cobra. Big breath, soften shoulders. Draw the heads of the shoulders back and down. Exhale, release. Press up through plank or table and back to your downward facing dog. Take a moment to land in your downward facing dog, growing long through the back body from hips to fingers, from your sit bones down the backs of your legs. Some of you will need a bent knee variation, and that's fine. If you're taking the straight leg variation you want, or the straight leg expression of this, you want your heels to reach into the earth. You want to fan those peacock feathers and let your heart melt down. Upper arms frame the ears. Another deep breath here. And we're going to step through with the left foot. If you took three-legged dog on the other side, you can take it here. Otherwise, you can come to table and step through. Any way you can get that left foot through. Start with high lunge here. So power up that right leg. Lift the back of the right knee. Soften the shoulders. Lengthen out. And then back heel is going to spin in 45 degrees. Plant the outer edge of your foot deep into the earth. Sweep the hands forward and up. Warrior one. The challenge here is to be able to square the hips and keep the outer edge of that right foot planted in the earth. And again, the variation would be to be on the ball of your foot, although this is more of a balance challenge. Bring the pubic bone forward a little bit so the low back lengthens and you root right down into Mother Earth with the tail. Lift the lower ribs away from the hips. Crown of the head reaches skyward and then lift up. Walking in beauty, standing in truth. Bring the hands forward. Beauty before me, beauty behind me. Beauty beneath me, beauty above, beauty beside me and all around me, beauty in circles, me with love, palm over palm at the heart. Just take a moment here to feel the power of that front leg come to as close to 90 degrees as you can. So if you need to slide your back foot back a little bit, you can do that. Finding the depth of it, the power and the strength of the legs as they connect with the earth. The power of an open heart as you bring the shoulder blades toward the center of the back. And then hands reach down to frame that front foot. Step up, back foot. Half forward bend, half lift. Inhale, exhale, fold. Sit down into your chair. And palms come together. One more breath here, sinking into your chair. Inhale, sweep up. Palms join overhead, hands come back to the heart. And just pause and feel the circle of beauty around you, the circle of all beings. The circulating within you of energy and life force. Prana. And then let the eyes open with a soft gaze. Let's take it into some balance play. I'd like to begin with the tree pose. Once again, and any of you who need to have a fingertip against the wall, that's fine. Feet hip width apart, finding your steady and comfortable mountain pose. You can start by lifting your left leg and bring the sole of the foot either inside the calf, inside the thigh, or tippy toes to the earth if you're needing that. There's another expression, a deeper expression of tree for those of you whose hips are really open to it, is to bring the heel to the hip crease of So you'd bring your left heel to your right hip crease, and then you need to press with the leg to keep it open, to keep it steady, because otherwise the foot's going to want to slide down. So if you want to play with that, you can play with it. It can be a little bit intense on the knees. So if your knee isn't happy with this, please listen to your knee. So if you're bringing your foot inside the standing leg, let the trunk of your tree be really firm. So activate all the muscles in the leg, starting with the bottom of the foot. Lift up through the calf, through the kneecap, engaging the front of the thighs, the quadriceps, root tail down. So you get that hip opening benefit of this balance pose. Hands at the heart in prayer position. If you're holding onto a wall, you can just make the sound of one hand clapping. And from here, let's play with that beauty chant as we are embodying the beauty of a tree. Hands forward. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty beneath me, beauty above, beauty beside me, and all around me. Beauty encircles me with love, palm over palm. And from here, releasing your tree pose, see if you can come right into eagle pose, wrapping the left leg around the right. Those of you who want to take a break and stand in mountain for a moment before moving, you can do that. You can have your foot, your toes on the floor or on a block if you need to. Your left arm is going to come underneath your right, wrapping the arms. So elbows wrap, and if you can, wrists wrap, or just backs of the hands to one another. Thumbs point toward you, fingertips lift to the sky. So, we did an external rotation of the hip here. Now we're getting that internal rotation. Get down into it, into like a one-legged chair pose here. Lift up. And then unfurl your arms and come into the crane pose, taking flight. Knee stays at hip height. Toes just dangle under the knee. A little bit of a softness, a micro bend in the standing leg. Whenever we practice balance poses, you can fix your gaze into a spot on the floor a few feet in front of you. Your drishti, or a focal point. And then slowly come into standing in mountain. Just turn the palms open, inner eye of the elbow, and the palms face away from you. Let the eyes close for a moment and just feel the difference between one side of your body and the other. Notice where the energy is circulating. And then eyes open again with a soft gaze, find your drishti, and we'll take it into tree pose on the other side. Your expression of tree, remembering that in order to get the hip opening benefit here, you have to press firmly. If you're using the foot to press into the thigh or calf, press firmly so that you can really feel the hips opening, the hip on your right side opening, and the knee pointing out to the right, straight out to the right. Root down, feel connection with the earth through that standing leg, connection with the sky. Let your branches reach to the sky here. If there's any letting go that needs to happen in your life, just like the trees are letting go of their leaves, see if you can maybe take a little flick of your fingers to let go, whatever it is. What is finished? What can you offer out? And just give it to the wind. And then hands forward. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty beneath me, beauty above, beauty beside me, and all around me. Beauty encircles me with love. Palm over palm at the heart. Keeping drishti focused. When you're ready, you can Make the transition right into your eagle pose, and it's fine to come into mountain first if you need it. Now the right leg crosses over the left, right arm underneath the left. You're going to drop your hips down into it like a one-legged chair pose. You're going to reach your fingertips to the sky. You feel that nice energizing stretch through the upper back, shoulders, between the shoulder blades, upper arms. Breathe deep. Enjoy. You're going to have to focus right through your wrists to that spot on the floor. When you're ready to release, unfurl your wings. Come into crane wings. Take flight as the crane. A little softness in the standing leg. Just a micro bend in the knee. Micro bend means nobody else can see it. So it's not like you're going to go, you're just going to unlock that knee. And let the right foot dangle under the knee. Soften your shoulders, spread your wings, keep your heart open. And slowly release. And pause and feel. To release that sequence, shake out one leg, shake out the other leg, and just for fun, see if you can shake out both legs at the same time. So from here, I'm going to invite you to come down onto your mat. And come into sitting on your sitting bones, the feet planted. We're going to take some back rolls. And I know there's some people here who do have some back pain going on, so I'm going to show you a couple of different options here. For those of you who want to take it in the most gentle way, you're going to roll down onto your back and hug your thighs in toward your chest to lift the feet off of the mat. And then release and let the feet come down. Just pull in the thighs and then release. Pull in and then release. If you want, you can tuck your chin into your chest as you do this so that you can have a little rounding in the shoulders as well. So that at least massages the low back and sacrum area. If you want to take it deeper, the hands can come underneath the knees and you can rock up and down the length of the spine, keeping chin tucked because you want the upper back to be rounded here. Because you can't roll if your back is straight. So keep the chin tucked, keep the navel pulled in, keep the thighs in close to the belly, and rock and roll from your sitting bones all the way back to your shoulders. So you're just rocking through the torso. If you want to take it deeper, you can cross your ankles and grab opposite big toes and let the toes come overhead, back behind you, toes touch toward the earth. And when you rock up, you can rock all the way onto your sitting bones and take the opposite stretch here. So you're going to take a little cat-cow as you rock. So shoulder heads pull back, heart opens, gaze looks up. You're up forward on your sit bones and then rock back. So don't forget to breathe when you do this. Nice deep breaths. You can inhale as you come up and spread the heart. Exhale as you rock back. And remember, if you're doing the gentle version, you can just do this with your breath. Inhale, fold in, exhale, release. Inhale, hug in, exhale, release. So just a few more breaths, a few more moments of rock and roll. Massaging all of the different vertebrae and the nerve ganglia that are connected with different parts of the spine and different chakras, the chakra points that run up and down the spine. And then come on to your back. Just let yourself settle into hugging the knees in toward the chest. Rock side to side. A little massage side to side on the spine. And just let the back of the head rest on the mat. And I'm going to invite you to take a moment of upside down time, whatever inversion calls to you today. So for some of you, it might just be straightening the legs straight up to the sky. So the ankles line up with your hips, legs are straight, soles of the feet to the sky. Or you can take one block or a rolled up blanket or bolster and place it underneath your sacrum in the flattest setting if you're using a block. Straight up, so you have a little bit of lift in the hips, and that way it becomes more of an inversion with the hips higher than the heart, allowing the lower extremities to pull down the blood and energy from the lower extremities to pull down the legs through the belly and into the heart. Also nourishing the thyroid gland and the parathyroid gland. If you want to take it into full shoulder stand, those of you who are comfortable with a shoulder stand practice, you're going to bring your hands to either side of the sacrum. Tuck your elbows toward one another. I like to come into shoulder stand with bent knees, so sort of like a floppy plow here, so that I have the stability to tuck my elbows toward one another. And then from here, you can lift up into your shoulder stand, which when I'm wearing this headset, I can't come into fully because of the thing behind my neck. Some of you already know how to use blankets underneath the shoulders. You can take that. I'm not going to teach that practice today. So if you're not using a blanket under your shoulders, you can have a little more bend in the hips so you're in a modified shoulder stand. So that brings the weight to your upper arms and upper shoulders rather than bearing the weight in the back of your neck. Just enjoying that reverse gravity, healing energy, which is very good for the nervous system. You can also take it into plow, either with straight legs or bent knees, framing the ears. The toes, if they don't touch, that's okay. You just want to support yourself on the low back and try to keep your elbows tucked in as much as possible, even tucking your shoulder blades and upper arms underneath your body. If you can come into full plow, just curl the toes under, plant them down into the earth, the balls of the feet and bottoms of the toes, and press back through your heels. Full expression of plow lifts the back of the knees to the sky, and the sit bones lift to the sky. If that's available for you without pain and it feels juicy for you, enjoy that for a few breaths. You can also take one leg straight up, so come into like a scissors here. One leg reaches the toes straight up to the sky, the other stays in plow legs for a few breaths. So a half shoulder stand, half plow, and you can try it on the other side for a couple of breaths. I'm doing it kind of fast forward here just so you can see the options. Although my guess is that most of you can't see your screen right now. I'll give you a few more moments to explore your shoulder stand and plow variation, and it's fine just to have legs up in the air with a block underneath, and allow the calming effects of that practice to replenish you. And when you're ready to release plow and shoulder stand, You can either roll down just by bending your knees and rolling back onto your back and planting your feet into the earth, hip width apart, toes pointed toward the front of your mat. Or some of you enjoy coming right from your plow pose with one leg leading and then the other following right into your bridge, landing on the balls of your feet, then letting the heels come down and take it right into bridge. Others may want to just roll down first, get yourself settled on your mat before rolling up into bridge, rolling up one vertebra at a time, like you're lifting a pearl necklace off of the mat, one pearl at a time, lifting the hips higher than the heart, heart higher than the head. Either hands plant flat or tuck your shoulder blades toward one another underneath the body. Roll the arms under the body and clasp your hands. Bridge. Setu Bandhasana, which is another inversion, also a back bend and heart opener, leg strengthener, also nourishes thyroid and other glands in the neck and head. If you press the top of the chest toward your chin, rather than tucking your chin in, just keep your chin facing in a neutral position and just focus on the chest opening and the top of the chest pressing toward the chin. That opens the heart a little more and also gives that thyroid and parathyroid area a little compression, so you get that squeeze and soak benefit. When you come out of it, all that fresh blood and prana and energy comes streaming into that area. And when you're ready to release bridge pose, first begin, if your hands are clasped, by unclasping your fingers, spreading your shoulder blades apart so that you can roll down from the shoulders, one pearl at a time, laying that pearl necklace down on the mat. Take it into happy baby. So you're going to draw the thighs down on either side of the rib cage, either grab your big toes or grab the inside of your feet or the outside of your feet. Really, anywhere you can grab on your feet. Maybe it'll be your ankles that you can grab. Soles of the feet face the sky. Inner thighs are going to frame the rib cage here. So have your knees nice and wide so they can come down on either side. You want to try to have your thighs come parallel to the floor. Your legs make that 90-degree angle. And sink the backs of the shoulders into the mat. And then if you want to be a playful, happy baby, see if you can rock side to side. Maybe lifting one foot to the sky and then the other as you rock side to side. Happy baby reminds us that there was a time in our life before our ego developed where we felt really in sync with that idea of beauty, connected to everything. We had no self-judgment or judgment of others. We were just one brand new being in that circle of all beings, being held and embraced by that circle. And the good news is that you still are. We just need to come into that remembrance. And then let the inner thighs come together. Bring the hands to the knees. And we're just going to circle the hips here. Just give them a little stir. Circle the knees. So what you're doing is you're keeping your back flat. And the only movement here is the thighs and the head of the thigh bone stirring around in the hip joint. So knees splay apart. Legs like a diamond, then draw the thighs in toward the ribs. Press the knees away. Just find the nice wide circles. The power of the world moves in circles. Circle the other way. And then extend your legs along the mat. Bring your feet together, legs together, stretched out on the mat, palms down. We're going to come into the fish pose, which is a traditional complement to shoulder stand and plow. When you were in your shoulder stand and plow, there was that compression, that flexion of the cervical spine, the neck. Now we're going to bring it the other way. If this doesn't feel appropriate for you, for your neck, if you have issues that make this not a wise choice for you, you can try coming into bound angle with the soles of the feet together and just take this as a hip opener instead. Otherwise, if you're coming into full fish pose, you're going to roll to one side just for a moment to tuck the entire arm underneath your body, palm down. Tuck the other arm underneath the body. So you're sitting on either your wrists or the backs of your hands, where your tush is right on top of your hands and wrists, palms down. Really tuck the shoulder blades toward one another so you get those upper arms under the body as best as possible, under the torso. Press into the elbows, into the palms, into the lower arms, to lift up. So the upper arms lift up. Imagine a string around the heart lifting to the sky, your heart, and let the crown of the head come to the mat. So you're open in the throat. You're going to point your chin to the back end of your mat. And you're going to support yourself on your arms, so you really no weight on the crown of the head, just a light touching of the crown of the head. Imagine that string lifting to your heart to the sky. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take a deep breath in, stick out the tongue, and go. Clearing out any blocked energy in that center of communication and self-expression, the throat chakra. Again, deep breath in. One more. Press into the elbows to support yourself as you bring the back of the head down to the mat. And untuck your arms from under you and turn the palms up. Just take a moment of Shavasana, corpse pose here. Palms turned up, inner eye of the elbow facing the sky. Toes are just naturally turned outward a little bit. Just feel the reverberation of that practice in your body, in your physical body, and energetically feel, see if you can notice how prana is circulating through you. And then slowly hug the right thigh in toward the chest into wind relieving pose. Just hugging that thigh, that right thigh into the rib cage on the right side. Knee is angled toward the armpit. Just to engage the core a little bit more for our practice today. Inhale and lift the left leg so that it hovers about a foot off of the mat. Beginning to just engage the lower abdominal muscles here. As you exhale, draw the chin to the chest, roll the head and shoulders off of the mat. See if you can keep the shoulder blades lifted off of the mat here. Navel pulled in toward the back. And if you can, see if you can release your hands, turn your palms to the sky. Ujjayi breath 3 times. 3 deep breaths in and out. Ujjayi breath. After your third breath, lower the head and shoulders down and turn the right knee out to the side and draw the left thigh in. So you're going to come into the supine pigeon, reclining pigeon pose, or figure 4. So you're going to meet just above the right ankle. The left thigh meets just above the right ankle. Slide your right hand through, hug that left thigh in, either behind the thigh or clasp around the shin. See if you can press away your right thigh and the outer edge of the knee presses away. You can use your elbow as leverage on the right side. Draw that left thigh in. Feel the glutes light up here on the right side. 3 deep breaths. And unclasp your hands around your left leg. Release. Extend the right leg along the mat and hug the left leg in. Left thigh in. Find your wind relieving pose here. Really hug that thigh in toward the low belly on the left side. Let the backs of the head and the shoulders melt down into the mat. Let the back body grow long. Then lift up through your right leg. Let it hover just about a foot above the mat. And if you can hold that there while you exhale, chin to chest, roll the head and shoulders off the mat. Either keep your hands clasped or release them, palms turned up. Draw your fingers toward the front of your mat, toward your extended leg. 3 deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, you can make that transition into the figure 4, laying head and shoulders down. Draw the right thigh in, turn the left knee out. Make sure that you're meeting your ankle above your ankle to your thigh rather than on the ankle or below it. Juice it up by drawing that right leg in a little closer to your belly and pressing the left inner thigh away from you. Outside of the knee draws toward the front of your mat. The front, whatever's front end of your mat right now. Breathe into that, go for the juice, and send the breath to anywhere where there's tightness or restriction. Enjoy dancing with your edge here. It's a place where sensation is strong, but not painful. Just where you want to go, oh yes. Where we send our attention and our breath is where prana, life energy, will flow. And when you're ready to release here, slowly release the position of the legs. And I invite you to come into any final twist that would help you feel complete with your practice today. So it can be knees together, legs in an L shape, like a revolved abdomen twist, 90-degree angle with the legs, one side and then the other. Or if you want a little bit of a juicier twist, you can wrap the legs in eagle legs and take what's called twisted root. Or you can bend one knee, placing the sole of the foot on the extended leg, and draw that bent knee over to the opposite side of your body. In any of these reclining twists, you want to invite the backs of both shoulders to be connected with the mat. And you turn your gaze in the opposite direction that your legs are, that your knee is going, knee or knees in the twist. And you want to keep your knees in line with your hips when you do this twist. So whatever knee is bending and twisting, either one or both, keep them in line with your hips. Let the breath be slow and deep. And when you're ready, you can slowly transition to the other side, if you haven't already. And then gradually make your way into Shavasana for final relaxation. Once again, letting the palms turn up, arms about 45 degrees from the body. Really let the backs of those shoulders and upper back soften into the mat. Sometimes it helps to take a little tuck, just slightly, of the shoulder blades toward the center so that you can feel the heart open. As the palms open and the heart open and the feet are a little wider than your hips and the toes turn out, just let them gently, naturally turn out. That posture of openness in the body is a way of saying with your whole body, I am ready to receive the benefits of this practice. I am ready to feel my place in that circle of all beings, and to let go and let myself be held in that circle. I'm going to offer you this prayer. This is an excerpt from a Navajo chant. Happily may I walk. Happily, with abundant dark clouds may I walk. Happily with abundant showers may I walk. Happily with abundant plants may I walk. Happily on a trail of pollen may I walk. Happily may I walk. Being as it used to be long ago may I walk. May it be beautiful before me. May it be beautiful behind me. May it be beautiful below me. May it be beautiful above me. May it be beautiful all around me. In beauty, it is finished. In beauty, it is finished. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty beneath me, beauty above, beauty beside me and all around me, beauty encircles me with love. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty beneath me, beauty above, beauty beside me and all around me, beauty encircles me with love. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty beneath me, beauty above, beauty beside me and all around me, beauty encircles me with love. Begin to deepen your breath now and invite some movement into your fingers and into your toes. As you take a deep breath in, let your arms circle beside you along the mat, opening up, reaching your hands back behind you. Reach your toes in the other direction so you're stretching along like you're just waking up. Another deep inhale. And as you exhale, fold your arms and legs into your chest, giving yourself an embrace. Roll over onto one side. And very slowly press yourself up to a seated position. Once again, rooting the tailbone down into the earth and the crown lifting to the sky. Honoring that circle of all beings of which we are inextricably connected. Let your hands reach forward, and if you'd like to join me in this closing chant one more time. Beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty beneath me, beauty above, beauty beside me and all around me, beauty encircles me with love. Palm over palm at the heart. Drawing that beauty into your heart. Thank you all for joining me today. May you take this sense of beauty and interconnectedness into your day, off of your mat, and into your life. It's always a joy and an honor and a delight to practice with you. Let's take a deep breath in and honoring that circle of all beings, that interconnectedness with the sound of Om together. Let's join our voices. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.